Welcome to Humphreys of Henley TV, countryside concierge at its finest. And as you might be able to see from the amazing view behind me, we are in Brighton. We've come down to the seaside for the weekend. It has been gloriously sunny from the moment we arrived, so everything just looks absolutely amazing. Even the seagulls don't look too bad when the weather's like this. Now we're going to share a couple of episodes with you from Brighton because there is so much to see, so much to talk about, and depending on the type of trip you want, hopefully we'll be able to share with you something for absolutely everybody. Now, we did an amazing trip around the Brighton Pavilion, which is probably the most famous building, I would imagine, in Brighton, and it does not disappoint on any level. The architecture is just stunning. So you've got this amazing Indian style building from the outside, and when you go in, as you can see, the Chinese influences with dragons and rich crimson reds everywhere you look is absolutely amazing. It really was built for pleasure, there is no doubt about that. So it was George who was to become George IV when he was Prince Regent. He wanted to escape the clutches of his rather austere father, George III, and that's why he chose Brighton. As you can see, as you walk through these amazing rooms, no expense was spared, and the absolute attention to detail is quite extraordinary. Every little thing has been thought of, and probably things that you would never think of normally, and you get this fabulous feel as you walk through the main rooms where Prince Regent would have entertained all of his terribly influential and aristocratic guests. You just know that it was there just for them to have some fun. The dining room is quite extraordinary, and apparently their dinners, they used to have about 24 courses, something like this. We were looking at one of the menus. There were 8 different types of soup on offer for the soup course. So they really went to town, and it's probably not too surprising that actually a lot of his ill health in later life was caused by probably overindulging somewhat. And the parties were legendary and would go on till 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. So once they'd finished dinner, they'd go through into the music room, and after the chaps had done their serious chats about politics and all that sort of thing, they'd go through and join the ladies, and there'd be dancing and music and all sorts of things taking place. And what was really interesting, actually, as you go round, I mean, the kitchens are just fabulous, and you can really imagine all of the heat and the bustle and activity when they were preparing one of these massive feasts. But it's really interesting that George decided he wanted the kitchen really close to the dining room, because the whole theatre and food and entertaining were at the heart of what the pavilion was there for, because usually in those days the kitchens were quite some distance from the dining room where the food was actually served. And there is the story that apparently one time they even ate in the kitchen. They couldn't be bothered to go anywhere. Obviously they covered up all the stone floors with red carpets and all that sort of thing, but it really is just amazing, and you can sense the history and so on. And as he became a bit older, once he became king and became a bit older, it's quite sad. He stopped coming to Brighton. Maybe it was just all the memories of happy, healthier days that he didn't want reminded of when he came down here. And he had a rather sad life. He had a very unhappy marriage. His one and only daughter died very young. So it wasn't the happiest life for him. And William IV, who was his brother, who amazingly fathered 15 children. He then became king when George died, and he'd spent a lot of time at the pavilion with George, so it stayed a bit of a favourite. Queen Victoria actually was not quite so keen. Apparently she loved all of the design and the Chinese influences and so on, because she removed quite a bit to take them up to Buckingham Palace where they are today. So she certainly loved the style of it. What she struggled with apparently was that it was so close to the town and she would be mobbed every time she stepped outside the door. So she sold it to the city of Brighton, and her chosen little coastal retreat was Osborne House over on the Isle of Wight. But that's for another episode. But going back to the pavilion, we've spent nearly half a day here just wandering around and learning the history, exploring the grounds and so on. And it's an absolute must if you come down here. And we can arrange a rather lovely special guided tour for you so that you don't miss out on any of the fabulous history and so on. Now, in the next episode, we're going to be talking about this incredible beach, and the pier and the hotels and the lanes and all of the other glorious things that there are to do in Brighton. A weekend is probably doable, but it's probably even worth maybe a 3-day visit, because there is so much to see. So we hope you've enjoyed your first little trip to Brighton. We look forward to sharing more next week. Please like and share and subscribe to the channel and tell us what you would like to do when you come down here to visit. We look forward to seeing you next time.